Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 6 Japanese destroyer, Mutsuki. It has two 120mm guns, 6 torpedoes, 22 AA defense rating, a surface detect of 6 kilometers, top speed, 37.5 knots, total health 11,600. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main armament, improved aiming accuracy, reduce the chance of flood and fire, improved acceleration. For my commander, basic survivability, last stand, and superintendent. We are on the map Land of Fire, and yes, it's the Mutsuki. It has been over a year. I actually see the last time I posted a video on this ship, and I'm not going to lie to you, I still don't really like it, but hopefully you'll get a good idea of how this ship works in 0.5.9. Plus, this is not the only game you're going to see today. This is my Anchors Aweigh, and the theme is mid-tier destroyer. So the Mutsuki is the first one. The second one is going to be the Tier 7 US destroyer, Mahan, and that's also a very entertaining game. Now, I was moving forward rapidly to scout out, and we ran into the Benson, and that's not who I wanted to run into, so I popped my smoke rather quickly. You can see the smoke ring, and that's just telling you I am protected as long as I'm inside of this object. And it has a nice effect, a nice clean effect. He cannot see me. He is scouted because he fired his guns with friendly aircraft around, but there are enemy aircraft in the area. I noticed that my AA was going off, and I turned it off. Just quick check, and you hear it going off as well. So as it's off, I'm going to try and retreat because the Benson, he wants to move forward rapidly, and I don't want to stick around for the inevitable torpedo attack from the bomber. My torpedoes did not work out as well as I would have liked, but I'm alive right now. I am detected. You can see that nice clean indicator where the smoke actually is. You can use it as a wall. The reason I'm detected is because of the aircraft. If the aircraft was not in the area, staying behind that smoke barrier would protect me, and we don't want to pull a Notser. We pull a Notser here, it's over. So I try my best to run the table, run right along the island, and avoid this torpedo attack, taking fire from everyone while it's going on. Once I am safely away from detection and the shells incoming, I use my damage control. And someone forgot to turn on their camouflage. Anyone else notice that everything defaults off? I really dislike that. I pull a lot of ships, and having to go back in and turn on the camouflage, turn on all of that, enable the auto refill, it's more annoying than I thought it would be. But I'm alive, right? How can I be annoyed by that? I'm also making videos on the internet that people enjoy. Nothing to complain about. The enemy Benson sent his torpedoes, which were conveniently scouted out, and I'm going to use that information to avoid them. Hopefully my teammates will do as well. However, you would be surprised how many people can still find a way to hit a target that has been visible for over a minute or 30 seconds. I just don't understand it. Now, I did send my remaining torpedo against where I believed the Benson was blind firing. The only read I could tell is obviously the shells coming from it, and we do indeed hit the Benson, cause a flood. Probably has damage control though, not gonna stick. And I'm gonna send the next set just to make sure. Maybe I can get him again. However, if you take a torpedo and you stay in the same area, you're a bad player. I mean, there's no other way to put it. The enemy obviously knows you're there. They had a pretty good idea. Why would the torpedo hit you otherwise? You need to leave immediately. And it looks like he's not actually there. I was telling Boymate, hey, this guy's in the smoke. I hit him recently. He must have been retreating, or he decided, you know what? I took too much damage. Let's go ahead and retreat. So the pincer attack that I was working on is not actually in play. Now, some of you might notice, hey, is that an aircraft carrier on the last known position near their base? It is indeed, and I don't know how he got out of that situation. Was it me who was scouting him? I don't remember being the one who scouted out the aircraft carrier. It could probably be friendly aircraft that scouted him out. I don't know how he got out of there. There's no excuse for an enemy aircraft carrier being that close and having the ability to get out. But since he's that close, he's somewhere around there, of course, he's going to come faster than your normal aircraft carrier attack. It really does add up. This torpedo attack is pretty recent from my torpedo attack that I had to deal with against that island. Probably 30 a minute. That's pretty fair. That's what you want to see. And I'm trying to get in a position where I could torpedo something because I'm a Japanese destroyer. I'm low health. I don't intend to show myself if I ever can. Oh, the Benson. He's trying to retreat. He's pretty healthy, honestly. I guess my torpedoes just don't do a lot of damage. And we are bottom tier, 100%, in a pretty subpar ship. And there's really no other way to say it. This North Carolina is being pretty bold, and I would like to get in position to possibly punish. I also can get in position for the 2 ships on the north side of that island that's just north of my position. But unfortunately, the enemy aircraft carrier, he sends his aircraft directly over my position, and now I gotta deal with the possibility that he's gonna attack me. So I pop my smoke. I don't want to take damage from that Benson. Yeah, here it comes. Or possibly the North Carolina. And the dive bombers incoming. Okay, yes, yeah, keep on doing it. Trying to dodge, duck, dodge, dive. Everything you can do to avoid those torpedoes, avoid the dive bombers. It looks like he actually sent his torpedo bomber against one of the friendly battleships, which is alright. They have pretty good AA protection. They're also bunched up. It's not an ideal target. You should really look for an isolated like this North Carolina. I'm not 100%. Yes, they are the same tier. They're tier 8 aircraft carriers. So yes, you should indeed go after isolated target. That North Carolina is definitely the better target between that battleship clumping and my friendly battleship clumping on the west side of my position. Now, look at the minimap. This is not good, right? The enemy is actively pressuring our base. There is only a destroyer that can possibly protect it right now. I'm going to go back. I'm going to help defend the base. It looks like it is a significant portion of the enemy team. It's probably 6, 7 ships. Remember, we do not see the other enemy destroyer. We know there's a Benson over by their base, but we have no idea where the second destroyer is. He hasn't even actually been visible on the map. So he's out there being sneaky, waiting to pounce on a target. Now, it's been a while since I've played in the Mutsuki. What's good about it? Well, what's bad about it? Let's go after that first. The turret's pretty poor. You have to decide between rate of fire and the amount of turrets. And honestly, I think the amount is better if it wasn't for health pull and a little bit better AA, which is irrelevant until you have some annoying aircraft carrier just camping over your ship. So I ultimately go up with the upgrade, even though 2 guns is really poor. Yeah, the rate of fire is twice as fast as the 4 guns, but 4 guns, you have a higher chance of hitting the target. Because you just need 1. Wow. You see on the minimap, there is an enemy destroyer that has gone all the way around the map and is attacking the friendly aircraft carrier. Now, we do have a Tashkent who can engage him. I don't know what type of destroyer it is. If it was a Benson, then the other destroyer must be, it looks like a Japanese destroyer, but I'm not 100%. So the Tashkent should have had an advantage, yet he didn't. He died to a devastating strike. He died to a torpedo. And I'm trying to argue with myself, okay, should I go after the enemy destroyer or should I try and get a torpedo attack on these enemies? They're pretty bunched up, right? It is a textbook torpedo attack. So I end up, you know what, let's send against the enemy battleship. He's leading the flank. He's pretty fast. I'm detected by an aircraft retreating. The friendly in front of me destroyed one of the cruisers. And the enemy team now has 3 ships, all battleships, in my base. And they're all tier 8s. They all got a lot of health and they're scary. I don't want to be visible for too long. The enemy aircraft carrier is a big jerk. And 9 times out of 10, he seems to always just hover over me. I don't know if it's complete coincidence, but he always finds a way to find my ship and he bombs me. That's a good damaging bomb by the enemy. We are detected. Looks like this enemy Tirpitz also has a camouflage issue going on. And he's not aware of the torpedoes. We're going to hit him with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 torpedoes. Couldn't have been better, honestly. Did massive damage, and sure enough, come on, kill this enemy battleship. Yes! Someone got a citadel, or very nearly. And that worked out really well. The friendly Tirpitz is going to take torpedoes. He's going to take 2. He's going to survive, barely. I'm taking AP fire from the other enemy battleships that are still alive, and honestly, you should probably go after the battleship that is pretty low. Yeah, sure, I'm a very low health destroyer, but destroyers are so elusive, and if you can take a battleship that's about 10,000 out, it's going to be worth more in the long run, unless of course you're really close to that destroyer. I don't think he was. I think he was 8, 9, 10 kilometers out. That's on the border, in my opinion, to hit the target. And I sort of drew something, kind of looks like a male anatomy to a degree. I didn't mean to, but it's funny. It's funny that it ended up looking sort of like that. Anyway, my torpedoes are going out. I did send them against the ship. It's not going to hit, of course, unless it blindly hits something in the water. It's not going to do it. And I really don't want to go after this enemy Fubuki, but I have to try to distract him. I need to keep him scouted for the team, but I really don't want to. Look at my health. I don't have enough health for this. And the friendly battleship, he's trying to catch him. It's the worst case scenario when a Japanese destroyer disappears on you as the battleship that is trying to catch him, right? It's like, I would really appreciate some level of support. I don't feel comfortable pushing this target. And I agree. I completely agree. I sort of want to try. It's a long way of saying, I would like to detect him, but not be detected, and it's just too close. Absolutely. If we got, like, 200 meters, if that, and I'm trying to move away from him because I know what he wants to do. He pops his smoke, and of course I run right into the enemy battleship. But luckily, the friendly battleship kills the destroyer. He only had 1 shot before he disappeared, and he got that accomplished. I send against the Tirpitz. I assume the Tirpitz is going to continue a turn and push forward. His secondaries are just overwhelming. You don't want to be this close to any German battleship. I believe that's their trait. They have an overwhelming amount of secondaries, and if you get within the secondary range, it's going to hurt you. Now, I missed with 1 set, but it looks like I'm going to catch him with one torpedo. It causes a flood, which is huge. That's going to force out damage control, which he needs, honestly. If people continue to fire on his position, if the dive bombers are successful in their attack, he's going to continue to die from a dot. But he's got a lot of issues going on, right? Our team, thankfully, has responded and reported to our base to defend. And now I'm just going to get as much damage as I potentially can. 660 points of damage, yes, just melting faces with this amount of overwhelming firepower. And the enemy dies. I think the enemy died to... He actually died to the destroyer. So either his guns or a flood. That's pretty cool. Enemy North Carolina is all that remains of the enemy's attempt to take our base. Now, I think that the enemy team's chance to win the game goes out the window if we get this guy dead without killing ourselves, of course, and maybe another friendly. It looks like he's willing to come out of his safety net, so I lead him in the direction I expect him to turn. Now, it might not be enough lead, but I don't expect the North Carolina to go at full speed. Now, I didn't expect the North Carolina to have to deal with more torpedoes, basically crisscrossing. It could not be better for our team, and especially for me, because the North Carolina is stopping to avoid the Benson's torpedoes, which is setting up perfectly for my torpedoes. Now he's going to take no damage from the Benson, but he takes 3 torpedoes from me, and I just got lucky. I predicted, but I didn't predict enough, right? If I would have thought he would have come to a complete stop, I would have honestly sent with less lead. That lead that I expected was sort of 75% speed coming out of a turn, give or take. Clearly, that was not enough lead if he was going full speed. But it worked out, right? It's all me, right? It's all me. I knew he was going to stop. That's what I'm supposed to tell you. But I'm not going to tell you that. Now, we've done pretty good damage, I'd say. As a tier 6 in a tier 8 match, I've done 110,000 points of damage, 10 torpedoes. Obviously, most of that is from the enemy battleships pushing our base in a very tight group, and they didn't have any destroyer protection. You could argue, is that destroyer that went after the aircraft carrier really being as effective as it could have been in screening for me? A lot of those battleships on the enemy team could potentially fire on my position as I'm approaching him, and I really can't do anything. It's just overwhelming firepower, right? So just consider, taking out an aircraft carrier is worth it, but is it worth it when you need to escort 3, 4, 5 friendly ships? And oh boy, this is bad. I was moving forward, hoping to run into something. The enemy aircraft carrier is also hoping to run into something. He sent his aircraft just right there. Probably 300 meters from detecting my ship. Thankfully, I was able to stop the ship before, and he moved off. He just gave me an opening, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to push forward. Now, Poimain has said to me, oh, are you kidding me? The Benson, he's right here. He has a health advantage. I'm going to try and kill him. Kill him. Oh, this is going to be bad. Is he going to get me? Oh, I'm still alive. His rate of fire is so much better than mine. We got a shell on him. We did 300 damage, but he's still alive. Ah, man. If I had more health, I could have taken him. Absolutely, 100% taken that enemy. And I've given the team a chance to come back. I don't want the enemy team to have that chance. The friendly aircraft carrier is going to try and take out the enemy Benson, which is fantastic. That's a great decision. He does have to deal with the fighter, so he either has to just do a straight attack, or it's going to be disrupted by the fighter. It looked like he potentially was able to bomb him without the inaccuracy of the fighter affecting it. And the enemy aircraft carrier shows up, and that's an interesting position for him to be in. I wonder how long he's been over in that area. It looks like he's moving forward, and surely he sees that there are friendly battleships on my team that are going to be able to fire on his position if he continues moving forward. The enemy Mogami fires on the North Carolina, but the North Carolina, we're salivating, right? I'm not even playing the game, and I'm like, oh, give me a broadside. North Carolina, take him down. And we're gonna see how well this works out. Enemy has to deal with AP, HE, and torpedoes, and he's gonna take 1 torpedo. And I still don't know why he's moving forward. This is a really bad strategy, but it's good for us. It's really good for us. Here comes more AP. Oh, not enough to kill him. But the first North Carolina should be ready to go any second now. Now, the North Carolina is notorious for not being as accurate as it should be, but it can still handle this. Now, look at him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are 2 enemy battleships right in front of me. I should back up. Well, it's a little too late. The game's already over. We won. Took too long, but that aircraft carrier would have died if another salvo went out at him. We did 1 kill, 10 torpedo strikes, 2,048 base XP. the Benson on the enemy team. You did a good job, my friend. You got me. Yes, you did. And all my damage, torpedoes, obviously. I'm a Japanese destroyer. Now, I can't say I enjoyed the experience playing the Mutsuki. There are far, far better ships, but you wanted to see it, and here is another ship that you wanted to see. It is the Tier 7 American destroyer, Mahan. She has 5 127mm guns, 12 torpedoes, 20 AA defense rating, a surface detect of 7.7 kilometers, top speed 35 knots, total health 14,100. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main armament, improved aiming accuracy, reduced the chance of flood and fire, improved acceleration. For my commander, basic survivability, last stand, and superintendent. We are on the map Hotspot, and yes, it's pretty much the same exact build as my Mutsuki, and it suffers from the same issue. The situation awareness change gave me basic survivability. I did not respec it, and therefore I did not get basic firing training, which you should get for destroyers. Basic survivability it's nice to have, but it's definitely not needed for a destroyer. Your damage control is up so often that if you take premium, you pretty much can use it on cooldown whenever you need it. You're very rarely going to have basic survivability benefiting you, but it does benefit you that lone situation where you're really low, you've got a fire that was just recently set on you, but your damage control is on cooldown. Of course, it's going to be helpful, but you really want to get to those level 5 and level 4 skills first before you start getting more level 1s and level 2s. And I would definitely argue that the next best skill to get is the level 2 torpedo rearm. It's just so fabulous to get those torpedoes out more often against your enemy. So, me and Poimane were pushing C, and clearly the enemy was doing exactly the same thing. So, I decided, you know what? I would rather live than die. I'm going to go after B. And I basically told Poimane, hey, the middle's open, I'm going to go. I don't feel like this is a really safe opportunity to take C, clearly. There are far too many enemy ships. We need to try something else. It really is that simple. Too many people just go, game's over. We didn't get the start that we were looking for. Let's just end it right now, rush forward and kill ourselves. When it doesn't work that way. As long as you don't let them get 3 bases on you. 3 bases is pretty hard to come back from. But 2 to 1, don't overextend. The ship trading alone will cover most of the point differential. At that point, you just want to make sure that you play it smart. B, obviously, nobody was going there. Nobody was taking it. We see 2 enemy destroyers over by A right now, and one of them is pretty low. I was a little greedy. I'm going to move forward and try and take him out, if possible. He is near my max range, but he's got 184 points on his ship. It's worth the risk. Get him! Oh, he's already dead. And, of course, fire the gun, reveal your position to everyone. Now, for whatever reason, the enemy Fubuki decides to fire on me. That is not the ship that I would have predicted would reveal himself. That would be the last ship in the game that would want to fire their guns, especially at a full health enemy destroyer. Why would you do it? You are now revealed to my team. It forces him to use his smoke. I'm going to use my torpedoes against the potential enemy cruiser. And I'm going to set up in a position where I can confirm that I can capture B and also assist in the destruction of the enemy destroyers. And I pop my smoke, of course, so they don't see me, so they're not distracted by this love machine over here. I'm just going to work them down with my guns. We train him in. He's being a little dodgy, but we can get him. The rate of fire is impressive, even on a tier 7. It's been a while since I've been in these US destroyers at low tier, and this is a low tier destroyer to me, but it works out pretty well. The enemy avoids all of the torpedoes from my friendly, but he can't avoid me, and I take him out. And again, look at all these enemy ships. Honestly, I should have just held my torpedoes and sent to these guys. They're bunched up. This enemy Aweigh does not have the upgraded hull, and it looks like he's gonna pull a big fat Notser. He's driving directly into the island, and he's also in the way of not one, but two friendly ships for him. So, this is great. They all have to deal. Oh, is he blind firing? It for real? He was blind firing and he hit me like that? Man, I wish I could do that. Enemy Colorado's dead. The torpedoes that were meant for him are completely irrelevant. Unfortunate for the friendly. I think the friendly actually died as well. But my torpedoes are back up, and I send just as the enemy Aweigh dies, and, well, maybe the Pensacola. I don't really know where he is. There's just too much ship over there. Look at that. You got 1, 2, 3. Oh, how convenient is this? The enemy Mogami, I believe, sent torpedoes, but I don't have to change one bit. And the Pensacola, no way he's going to survive that torpedo. Yep. He's taken out. And just like that, 3 enemy ships all killed themselves by one enemy running into an island and being the clogger of the area. It probably would take like 2 battleships to clog up the A point on Hotspot. You have 50% right there. That was just really poorly executed by the enemy team. And what? This enemy Mogami is that close? He's using the 203s? How can you tell? There are only 2 guns per turret. And I can tell just by the amount of shells coming towards me. That's about 10 or so, and he misses all of them. I do have my torpedo on my starboard side, but it's only 1. Remember, the U.S. destroyers sort of have 1 neutral and 1 per side setups until, I think, the Benson. Then they have all neutral. And yes, I'm revealing my position to the Mogami, but I don't really care. I would like him to start burning. And I don't want him to take my capture point. I worked very hard on B, thank you very much. You are not going to get it, Blitzwolf. And the enemy decides, you know what, you're being a pest, so he fires on my position, and I'm trying to dodge it, play with the throttle, and whoa, we avoid all shells, not just from the Mogami, but also from the enemy battleship in the background. Friendlies on the eastern flank now can push into C, and they've set fire to the enemy Mogami. Remember, damage control recently, so he's gonna burn. And again, we avoid him. Ha! Can't hit me. And this is where the 155s would have worked better. They're just better at taking out destroyers. And oh, here comes some more. Sharp turn, sharp turn. I think he's gonna hit me here. Yes, he nicked me on the nose. His back guns missed, unfortunately for him. Good for me, of course. And he's still burning. He's got 2 fires on a ship. He puts them out. Okay, we know that's damage control because both went out at the same time. They weren't applied at the same moment. Very obvious. If you rewatch, you can see the back had a fire, and then when he was facing me, he sort of gained a fire from, I think, that friendly cruiser that's on the eastern side of the map. They've taken C. My friendly point man's like, yes, come to me, Mogami. He's going to send his torpedoes, which is great. And he's no longer trying to capture my base. The enemy, Mogami, is able to avoid the torpedoes, and oh no, Poimane, you have run aground. Oh, the enemy sent torpedoes. He's just waiting to die, right? Are you kidding me? Tweedledee and Tweedledum. The enemy, Mogami, ran into the island, and it's gonna hurt him as well. Really, Poimane, you're getting out? Ooh, I set him on fire. He's probably got 30 seconds, 15 seconds until his damage control should be back up. So he should... Oh, it's already up. Never mind. He's got premium, which is good. You should always have premium. It's more credit investment, but it's really helpful. At least use premium damage control at high tiers. And we're just working him down. Maybe I could switch to AP. I'm more interested in spreading fires on the surface of his ship, but it's just not working out. Man, this is where AP, Notser. Just fire AP. Friendlies get the kill. Good. Enemy battleships are also in the area. That's fine. I just have to decide if I've got the cojones to push forward. The enemy Tirpitz is showing a lot of side. I'm looking at the mini-map for that particular judgment. You can't always just look at them through your binoculars. You need to read the situation and confirm with the minimap. And it looks like he's not, well, 50% of his guns are sort of looking at me. Oh yeah. First shot, set the target on fire. And the superstructure of the German battleships is just so bulky. It's really easy to do damage. Honestly, again, AP, broadside target. As long as I hit the... Ooh, nice. Second fire. Okay, how many torpedoes are we going to get? We're going to get one. He gets only one. And he's still on fire, so the flood is sticking. He must have used damage control just before I engaged him. Is he going to die to my dots? I have a lot of dots on him. It's taking off 1,500 per... Yes, it does. Enemy New Mexico dies as well. And we're just going to try and take out the enemy aircraft carrier. Last known position was somewhere south of my position. And the game worked out pretty well. I can't say that this is how I wanted it to go, but in the situation, going towards B was the right call. You got to take what the enemy is going to give you. You don't want to overextend, because that's the strategy that we decided on. You know, that doesn't work out. In World of Warships, more so than a lot of multiplayer games right now, every decision you make has a time requirement. It just takes time to turn the ship, decide to fire, choose what ammo you're going to use. All of this is important. You need to predict what's coming at you and fight it accordingly. I was lucky that 2 of the 3 enemy destroyers were spotted for most of the time, plus the enemy really bumbled it at A, right? I mean, it could have been worse for them. Bunch of ships running into each other. Other ships just couldn't get out of their way. And now, finally, I'm firing AP. And look at how much damage I'm doing against a broadside target. Yeah, Notser. Ooh, Citadel. 4,000 points of damage. Wow, where was that shot? Now I raise it, and he's starting to angle. So AP at an angle is really bad. I decide, okay, let's go for HE and finish him off. We fire at the hull of the ship, and we get the kill. Now, I was a little surprised by how effective we were, but playing the game around the objective tends to be pretty successful for a destroyer. 3 kills, 82,000 points of damage, 3,031 base XP. Just destroyed the XP gain because of all the objective play. We did a little bit of everything. 39,000 in main battery, 8,000 in torpedoes, 33,000 in floods and fires. I was really happy with that, actually. And I hope you enjoyed both of these games. They're both ships that I have not played in a while, and they worked out pretty well. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.